Hey everybody, it's Russell Frost for What Drives Us. Welcome to my review of the 2017 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring Edition. This is the first time I've had a chance to spend some time with a Honda Hybrid since the first generation Insight back in the Stone Age. So I was really excited, especially after spending a week with the Acura MDX Hybrid, to drive the Accord Hybrid and just kind of see where Honda was at. And overall, I have nothing but good things to say. In fact, what I'm afraid of is at some point in this review, it's going to sound as though I'm coming across as damning with faint praise. And I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form. This is a fantastic vehicle. It is, above all things, it is competent. It is very, very good at what it does. It is intelligently assembled and designed and engineered. It's executed very, very well. But it's hard not to also think that from a styling standpoint and from a driving experience standpoint, it's very, very pleasant. It's pleasant. It's not thrilling or adrenaline pumping or any of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. You know what? In sport mode, it kicks ass. It kicks the MPG too, but it kicks ass. But it's not a thrilling car, and I think in a sense that's a shame, because it's a better car than in some cases maybe it comes across driving it. So I can't reinforce enough how impressed I've been with the overall build quality of this Accord Hybrid. How intelligently a lot of the features are laid out, and how well everything works. The only thing that's probably less than awesome is the MPG. Honda Hybrids traditionally haven't been MPG champs, with the notable exception of the first generation Insight. This one gets good MPG. It's easily in the mid 30s if you drive like an average person drives, and it can get well above that if you are careful, with a little bit of training, shall we say. So it's good. It's not amazing. It's not the sort of like automatic mid 40s that you would get in a Prius, but this isn't a Prius. This is a Honda Accord. This is a gas sedan with a hybrid system. This is not a design from the ground up to be a fuel efficiency vehicle. Part and parcel with that not designed to be a hybrid. And this is something that Toyota does as well. There's a lot of analog hangovers. There's a lot of gas car hangovers with this vehicle. There's an analog speedometer. It is a beautiful speedometer, by the way. I mean, just really nicely done. But it's an analog speedometer, which to me is odd. Honestly, I think it's 2017. Numbers, digital things are great. We can get past the fake needle and pointing to 60 or 55 or whatever it is. It has a mechanical linkage for the transmission. Obviously it's a CVT. But it has a mechanical linkage, which is clunky and weird. Again, I think that's an anachronism. There's no reason not to have a joystick on the dash or push buttons or something that's a little more modern. This is probably the only design misstep that I can cite in my week with this Honda. And that's that mechanical linkage to shift the car from park to reverse to neutral to drive to B, the engine braking mode. The weird thing is there's no indicator. The stick of the handle will line up with the correct letter, but the last letter is B in engine braking mode. So the natural thing is to sort of click the button and bring it all the way back. And if you do, you're in B mode, which is a stupid way to drive a hybrid. And it's no fun, and it's bizarre. So more often than not, what I found is I bring it all the way back to B and then go up one click to D rather than counting the clicks. I'm sure people smarter than me would do something differently. Good for them. I think it's weird. I think the B should be offset somehow or have to depress the button to get into it. It's something that you almost never use, unless maybe you live, in the Rocky Mountains or something. So there's that. I think that's a little weird. The analog gauges are a little weird. Honda, like everyone else in the business, puts some buttons and gauges down here in this lower left side by the knee. Ostensibly, they're buttons that you don't need as much. Of course, that is all the much better if you never need those buttons. And it sort of, but I just don't know why they can't put them somewhere else. A weird thing, not a bad thing. This vehicle has a camera built into the passenger side mirror, which is really awesome. When you turn right, it gives you a camera view with some index lines so you know how far things are away from you. It's a wonderful safety addition, but there's no camera built in to the left side. Now, there's a kind of a funky little Circus Funhouse mirror that gives you some extra visibility, but I have to wonder why they didn't, as much as automakers tend to be obsessed with symmetry, why they didn't put that mirror into the other side. Seems odd to me. As far as complaints go, that's about as far as I can go. Performance-wise, the car's fun to drive. It's fun to drive. In sport mode, it's a lot of fun. It's very, very pleasant. It's comfortable. The stereo in this vehicle is probably one of the nicest stereos in any car I've reviewed in the last year and a half. I don't know why, but it sounds very, very good with most of the input that I put through it. It doesn't have a lot of the digital distortion that you hear with a lot of less expensive, shall we say, OEM car stereos. This Touring Edition Accord Hybrid is a spacious, comfortable vehicle. The seats are very nicely done. The rear seats, comfortable, lots of space, good amount of space in the trunk. Not huge, but good. Electric seats in the front. Dual zone HVAC in the front. Touchscreen. A large LCD display with some compass and some things. I'll show you that in the video. A lot of good controls on the steering wheel. This would be a nice car to take on a long trip. This would be a nice car to commute in every day. And when I say nice car, it almost sounds, again, it sounds like bad. Why am I saying it's the most fantastic car ever? It's not the most fantastic car. It is exceptionally competent. It is exceptionally pleasant. And I think that's enough. I would be happy to drive this car. And frankly, now I haven't driven the new Camry Hybrid. The last time I drove the Toyota Camry Hybrid, which more or less the direct competitor here, was in 2012. And if someone dangled the keys of both in front of me, I'd pick this. I like this car a lot more than I like the Camry Hybrid. Maybe that's because this is a 5-year newer model. It could be. It has the full complement of safety features, which all seem to work very well in every way. Again, pleasant car. That's not such a bad thing to say, is it? No, I don't think so. Sometimes superlatives get in the way. Sometimes the hype is an indicator. So I'm suspicious of everything being full of adrenaline, everything moving at 150 miles an hour, everything being extreme. Sometimes very, very good and reliable is a lot more important. And in some ways, I think this Honda Accord exemplifies that. There's nothing about this vehicle, in my opinion, that stands out. The exterior styling, the lights, the hood, whatever, the trunk, the back end, the interior, it's all very nicely done, but none of it is superb or spectacular, or none of it is like, oh my God, what is that? I need that. And in a way, I kind of respect the idea that Honda didn't go for that with this car. I don't know if that was their intention or not. I'm sure they want to thrill people. They want to capture their imagination and their attention. Every car company does. But I think in making a really just strong sedan, they've also not wasted a lot of money or energy or intellectual energy in doing something that deviates from the main function of this vehicle, which is safely and comfortably getting you from point A to point B. Maybe even efficiently. So, sometimes we get lost in the hype of all that exciting stuff and forget that the prime mission of these vehicles isn't to thrill us. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what you want. And if that's what you want, maybe the Honda Accord Hybrid Touring Edition isn't the car for you. Honda's probably going to hate that I say that, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the very best of ways. What I mean is that they designed a very nice four-door passenger vehicle that does exactly what it's supposed to do. Very well, very smoothly, very pleasurably. And that's more than enough, in my world, to get a thumbs up. In the end, I would highly recommend this vehicle. It seems like it presents a good value. The features are well done. It's, again, a pleasure to drive. And you can get respectable MPG out of it. I'd drive this car across the United States in a heartbeat. I don't know what else I can say. I'd be happy to drive this car. Yeah, I would be. I'd be very happy to drive. I'd be happy to own this car. In my last week with the 2017 Honda Accord Hybrid Touring Edition, that's what I've learned. I've learned that this is a very desirable vehicle. I'm going to be excited to drive some other new Hondas. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you had some fun, because I had some fun doing it. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. That's facebook.com/whatdrivesus, all one word. We would love it if you'd friend us there, share our posts, share the reviews. We answer questions. We get news stories for the weekly show there too. Of course, the weekly show, our home is whatdrives.us. Visit us there. You can download the show or stream the show in audio or video format. You can read all of our amazing articles. And of course, all of our car reviews are available at whatdrives.us. Or of course, follow us on Twitter. We're What Drives Us, strangely enough, at Twitter. So it's at What Drives Us on Twitter. Thanks again for watching this review, and drive safe.